Jeff Fogel, and welcome to the Monat Coaches Midweek Show on Monat Web TV. Here I am today with my guest, Coach Yule, as always, and today we're going to recap Friday night's game against the East Newton Patriots in a dominating win for Monat, and look forward to district play, first round, against Seneca at home. So, Coach, after Friday night's game, a very dominating victory, what were some of the bad things that the team needed to work on this week so that they'd be ready for Seneca again?
Well, I mean, if you go back to the Friday night, I thought we played really well. I thought that there wasn't really much that I could be critical about. Thought offensively we executed very well. We scored, quite a few touchdowns early and executed as far as making big plays. I think, we got a touchdown call back. That was more on me. We had a lineman downfield blocking, and I've always told kids, if you stay engaged, I'm fine with it. And we got engaged, and we were downfield, so we got that one called back. Defensively, I thought we played really well. About scored 2 touchdowns. We did score one, and then About came back and scored another. Coming into this game, we're familiar with Seneca, and they're familiar with us, so it's really going to come down to who executes. There's not going to be a ton of changes amongst each team. I mean, you can't just change your playbook in 2 weeks, but there might be little tweaks here and there. But really, it's going to be who executes the game plan. As far as it might be similar to the first time you played them.
Yeah, the first time that Monat played them, they did go down to Seneca in a mud bowl type of game, and now that it's home, I think the advantage is going to be with us because we have, I think that the team has a better team speed than what Seneca does. And Seneca also has some big guys up front, which posed a little bit of a problem last time we played. I know on the goal line there at halftime that kind of posed a little, they were bigger and got a better push, but it's one of those things you got to deal with, get low as a lineman, got to get low on their knees and move them. So district play starts this week. Seneca, Monat again. Very similar teams. Seneca likes to run the ball, not really pass much. And we can kind of do whatever. I mean, Monat can pass the ball or throw the ball. So what are some things that are going to be different that we've seen from last time than this coming week, besides obviously the different fields and the weather playing a factor?
Well, the field conditions will be much better. It doesn't matter if it's raining Friday night or not. Our field, because it's turf, it's going to hold up better, or it is better. I think it benefits both teams. They had to play in that slop, and so did we. Team speed, I would think that we do have an edge there. But as far as things that are different, we'd like to throw the ball. I felt like the first time we played them, we didn't start out throwing the ball. Really, it was just me more thinking about the field, a wet ball, and things like that. So, we'll mix it up early, probably a little more than we did the first time. We did throw the ball late against them, and we had some success. So, I could see us, just incorporating more pass early. Defensively, I thought they had a good game plan against them. Their quarterback did a good job the first time we played him. We were worried about tackling the dive, and he pulled it and had some yards. I believe he had about 100 yards, one on about an 80-yard run. So for the most part, our defense did play well. I know, they're up for the challenge, this week again, and this is when it gets fun. It's this is you lose, you're out, and if you keep winning, you get to play. So I know our kids want to keep playing, and there's a good bunch of seniors, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah, I always love this time of the year because no matter what, there's no 2 or 3 game series like it is with baseball. If you win, you go on. And of course, Reed Springs got the number 1 seed, which we figured that, even though they did lose to Springfield Catholic. But other than that, I don't see, the only other team I can see Monat really having some trouble with is Cassville. If Cassville wins Friday night against, who are they playing? Against East Newton, I do believe. That'll be another Berry County brawl. Won't be for the trophy, of course, but it will be at Burl Fowler Stadium again, which gives us the home field advantage. And looking at, not trying to skip ahead from Seneca, but when Monat does win and can get to the next round, they play Seneca or Cassville, and then on to district championship So I know it's kind of hard to say, but the kids seem like they want to keep playing, and the way they played Friday night, if they play like that all through the playoffs, they'll be at the Dome here in Thanksgiving weekend. So what are some things that have the seniors shown that really shows that they really want to play and keep playing?
Well, I mean, when you have a good group of seniors, you know, their best year is going to be their senior year, and I feel like for all of them, this has been their best year to date. So, you know, they're excited to come to practice. They understand that, you know, it's necessary to maybe go a little longer some days and to work on, you know, maybe the same techniques they've been working on for the last 9 weeks. You know, saying that, you know, Seneca's, you know, our first game. You know, I don't like looking ahead. You know, I think our district's very competitive. I think there's quite a few teams that could win it. So, you know, I'm not just ready to say that, you know, it's ours. So, but anyways, I think that, you know, like I said, it's a special group of seniors. They've won a lot of games. You know, guys that have played since their sophomore year, been a part of a lot of victories, and I think they kind of understand, you know, what it takes as far as in the playoffs. And you know, as a head coach, that's what I'm kind of counting on.
Right. You just take it one game at a time, especially in our district. I think no other district in the state can compete with the Big 8 caliber teams. I mean, we're kind of that Southwest Missouri mentality is you may be bigger, you may be faster, but we're the blue-collar guys that work hard every day and get the job done no matter what it takes. And I always think it's funny how Reed Springs is almost always the number 1 seed, but if they do get to the district championship game, they end up losing to a Big 8 team. And I don't know if that's because they just don't play a tough schedule like the Big 8 is, because you got Lamar and Monette, Cassville, Mount Vernon, and even East Newton this year. They got 3 wins, so they're not the bottom seed. Aurora is. So, and Aurora could very well easily beat Reed Springs Friday night, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody can beat anybody. You know, I really do. I think that, you know, the parity is, I mean, 1 through 8, there's parity in this conference. Whoever comes out of this district usually has, you know, quite a bit of success down the road. And, you know, it's hard to say, you know, who's going to beat who. I know that, you know, they're high school kids, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and you never know what's going to happen, you know. I mean, they have a couple, you know, bad plays, turnover here and there. It can be anybody's game. So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, if there were some upsets. I'd actually be shocked if there wasn't.
Right, a very competitive district, and it has been for the past, well, since I was in high school, so 4 or 5 years since Reed Springs came into our district, and everybody's been playing on Friday nights now, which is, I think, in my opinion, I think the Friday night games work better. So after this past week, looking through, wasn't very many turnovers Friday night. I mean, Monette, I think, got 2. And other than that, I mean, a really great game plan, it seemed, and great execution. You said you were going to stick with more of the pass this week and go with that. And I really liked how the first couple drives, you started in one formation and shifted out into another. I think that really caught East Newton off guard. I'm anxious to see if you do that Friday night against Seneca. I think that was one thing that wasn't really there the first time we played them because of the field conditions. So are we going to see any more of that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been tinkering with that, you know, here and there throughout the year. I think it's something, you know, for us as an offense, you get to kind of look to see how they're going to line up to different formations, you know, 2 formations in 1 play. So, yeah, I mean, we'll continue with it, you know, probably here on out. But, you know, it is something that we've done. You know, we do it a lot in practice, so it's something that we feel comfortable doing. And, yeah, it does, you know, present potential problems if a team's, you know, ready for one formation and then you bounce to another one. Then sometimes they do. You can catch them off guard or maybe have a you know, uncovered guy.
All right, that'll wrap it up for the midweek coaches show. I'd like to take a moment and thank all my great sponsors, Century 21, Schreiber Foods, and Scott's Shoes of Monette. If you can't make it out to the game Friday night here at Burl Fowler Stadium at 7 p.m., Monette versus the Seneca Indians, catch it on the Monette Web TV and KKBL 95.9 The Buzz.